So, like, one of the biggest advice anybody who is young, any guy, I'm talking about young guys, who is young, needs is that of sexual control. Yes, because I have friends who are like the same age with me, my age grades. I have friends who are young like me, who I go out with, who I have a look into their inner lives, into their private lives. And I see that there's something most of them are struggling with, which is sexual control. Most of them spend a lot of money chasing women. They spend a lot of time chasing women. I know that as young guys we have a lot of testosterone running at a very high speed in our bodies, which of course produces sexual hormones, which always makes us very, very in need of sexual satisfaction and sexual release. But one thing we have to tell ourselves, which is truth, is that if you always give in to your sexual desires, especially if you're a young guy who's still building your life, if you're not from a rich family, like a situation whereby you cannot afford to have sex as much as you want, because of course these days for you to have sex as much as you want, you either get a girlfriend or you get or you pay your way or you pay money to sex workers and you can sleep with them as much as you want. But as we all know, majority of guys struggle with women, so many of them tend to tilt towards that of sex workers. So this is where you see a lot of guys spending money they are meant to be using to invest in themselves, building themselves. They spend it on women. I know a guy, a banker friend of mine, a young guy. He works in the bank. He earns around 80K every month, but 50% of his money goes to having random sex with sex workers because, of course, he has to satisfy his sexual urges. Now, I'm not saying you should not get involved in those things. Sex is something that the body needs. The body needs it because it's a biological need of the body. That's the truth. Sex is a biological need of the body. In fact, sex is a core human need. Sex is a core human need. Put me anyway. Of course, biologically speaking, probably when we start looking at it from the religious perspective, it's a sin. But biologically speaking, sex is a core human need, which everybody, most especially men who have testosterone running at a high speed in their body, need. So I can't come here and tell you that sex is not really that important. Sex is important, especially if you're a young guy. So what I'm trying to say is that, in as much as sex is important, try to exercise control over it, or else it will lead you into financial disaster. Because a situation whereby you always want to have sex with different women, you end up spending more money than you have, which leaves you broke. And personally, my own opinion about spending money on sex is not something worthwhile to spend too much money on, especially if you are struggling financially. It's not worthwhile because it's like a temporary satisfaction. Let's say you stay on top of a woman or in a woman 10, 20 minutes, you are done. And like that 20K, 10K, or any amount you spend is gone forever. It's gone. And in the next 1 hour, you still feel the need to have that sex. So personally, I feel that it's not something guys should spend too much money on. Rather, guys should spend much money to develop themselves financially to a point whereby they can easily get women like without even working too hard or spending too much, because women love the rich guys. Women are the ones who chase after the guys who have money or who they feel can provide for them. They're simple as that, guys. They're simple as that.